Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to Do It Yourself Budget Hot Rodding. And in this live stream, I'm going to go over the products that we actually use on Project Spirit to keep her running in tip-top condition. How you doing, Queen? Yeah, you are the first. You're the first one in. You're in for a treat. We got some, I guess you could say, kind of that. Oh, thank you so much. We got some interesting product information, some stuff that'll actually translate to modern vehicles and help out vehicles run a little. Well, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that you're here. You know, I had something interesting happen today. I woke up today and I found it not necessary to take a drink. You know, any day that happens is still a miracle. So I'm excited. Earlier today, we took Project Spirit out and we did our filming. We did some amazing filming. We got some awesome drive-by shots of Project Spirit. I'm actually editing together kind of what the new intros are going to look like here on the channel. Basically, some really neat intros, and it's gonna be really neat. You're gonna love it. So basically, well, we've got a new intro. Basically, we've got a new intro for Project Spirit, and I'm kind of editing all that together right now, and then I'll release it as like like all the different intros that we now have, so y'all can see that and see what you think. But yeah, I mean, we got some neat stuff going on. Been pretty busy today, but it's been a good busy. Got some stuff done. Um, so around that 10-minute marker, we're gonna start getting into the actual nuts and bolts of what we do here on the channel, talking about products like this old stuff here that you could still buy and it's amazing, does an amazing job. Even something like this, as long as I don't throw it everywhere. um, we're going to talk about just all the different products that we use to keep Project Spirit rocking and rolling, because there's a lot of stuff that people don't know that they can still use that's been around for years, because some of the products that they put out there is designed to blow up your engine. It's not as good as everyone thinks it is. And after doing the research and doing my homework and everything, basically I've learned a few things, because products for cars are always changing. For example, y'all have seen this. Hang on here. Grab a little something over here. Um, what's going on, Gotons? Kind of excuse what's going on between YouTube being broken these days, and of course the fact that my internet provider isn't as good as they say they are, and y'all get to see it live. So I don't recommend AT&T. But anyhow, here we go again. Um, One of the things that we'll be kind of going over is how products have changed over the years. For example, this is old 30-weight oil that would have been used in Project Spirit back in the day, a non-detergent 30-weight oil. But you don't see this anymore. Today, your 30-weight oil, is totally different than what it used to be. It actually, thank you, Gotons. So we got a lot of product information. We are going to do a little bit of DIY stuff here on the channel. Real quick, if y'all are wondering about this old can of oil, this is actually part of a giveaway. And I'm going to tell you why this is actually part of a giveaway here on the channel. Basically, the moment we get monetized, once we get the monetization, we have a special giveaway that we're going to be doing here on the channel. This is actually part of that giveaway. Now, the reason why I know you might be thinking, why is an old can of oil so doggone important? Well, believe it or not, this is actually worth quite a bit of money to a lot of collectors. The fact that basically you have an oil from way back when that's still inside, and the fact that, I mean, you could still use this stuff. We could actually put this in Project Spirit if we want, and we won't. But basically, there are collectors for like some of the mechanic shops and things like that love to get their hands on this, and they'll put it up on display and everything. They'll pay big money for this stuff. In some cases, A can of this nowadays could go upwards for $150, depending on what time frame it was actually, put in the can and all that other stuff. Even though, I know that sounds ridiculous, but some of that old stuff is worth a lot of money. So this is why it's in the giveaway. So if you are, if you're hurting for cash, and you can find a collector that looks for old stuff like that, yeah. If you find a collector, well, like I said, where I live, a lot of the shops to kind of signify that they've been doing stuff for years, what they will do is inside the office or the waiting area or whatever, they'll have like old stuff like this laying around and just kind of up on a shelf to kind of show that they have a car heritage. Now some can get away with it. Good deal, Mr. But basically, you have a lot of people that just eat look for stuff like this, like old, and there are car collectors that will, they'll set up like a display area or something like that, or museums that look for this stuff. Transportation museums will look for stuff like this, so you will be able to make a little bit of money back on this. Um, you know, anywhere from like $50 US to $150 US. So this will actually be part of a giveaway. Because if you're tight for cash, oh, you're all good, Mr. Gotons. You're all right. uh, do any of us get the N-word pass? Depends on what the N-word is. But again, this is just and basically we're going to be going over a lot of product stuff from back in the day and how things have changed. What's going on, Mr. Gavin John? Welcome to the live stream. You're in time. At about the 10-minute marker, we're going to start going over some old school product information. Actually, it's going to be Hot Rod Sunday here today. We're going to be talking about Project Spirit and how some of that old school stuff, some of the things that we used to do back in the day, how it might actually translate to modern cars. Some of it still does. Some of the products that I would use on Project Spirit, you could still use today on a modern vehicle, believe it or not. And it's like, you know, yeah, so we're going to go over this stuff. And I know, Gavin John, you were, when you and I talked, high school sweetheart. Oh my goodness. Yeah, my high school sweet. Yeah. I have stories to tell about that. Her and I had two children together, two beautiful daughters, gorgeous looking girls, gorgeous looking girls. Of course, I'll say that I'm dad, but again, we're going to go over some old school product information, stuff that translates extremely well to modern vehicles. Some of it doesn't. Some of it you cannot do today, just because modern vehicles just will not tolerate it. Okay, it just doesn't work that way anymore. Times have changed. Hannah is my little sister. The irony of it is, the irony of my little sister is the moment she was born, she was already an aunt, and her niece, her first niece, was a year old by then. So my oldest daughter is a year older than my little sister. My dad married a woman that was a little bit younger than him. Well, hey, what's going on, Sean? Oh, I understand, Sean. Oh, I love the Batman hat. My son bought me this. My 12-year-old son bought me this. And I thought today, I was out filming wearing it, and I just kept on wearing it today. Why not? Uh, no, Hannah's not my daughter. Hannah is my little sister. Now, she's a year younger than my oldest daughter and a year older than my second daughter. She's right. So I could see where you would confuse that, but yeah, that's actual fact there. So we are now at that 10-minute marker. We have a pretty good crowd coming in. The rest of them are just going to have to play catch up from here, okay? So let's start talking about product information now. Um, Real quick, for those that don't know, I intended to do an oil change on Project Spirit. I intended to do an oil change on Project Spirit today. Thank you, Mr. Gotons. Appreciate that. You're in lurk mode. Okay, Sean. Just kind of keep your ears peeled, for whenever we start to talk about, my abilities at filing. That'll be here in just a bit. Oh, yeah, 1978 Pontiac Trans Am. I had the 78 Camaro when I was a teenager, and the 78 Camaro, well, the Camaro and the Firebirds during their generational times, basically like the first generation Camaro and first generation Firebirds and Trans Ams all shared the same parts, a lot of them, like suspension and all that other stuff. Oh, yeah, yeah. My son bought me this, my 12-year-old son. And from 1970 all the way up until 1981, the Trans Ams, the Firebirds, and the Camaros all shared a lot of the same body parts. You could actually interchange the doors between them. You could interchange, body panels and things like that. As a matter of fact, I know the shifters were identical, except for the shift knobs. Those changed a little bit. And as a matter of fact, my 78 Camaro, we actually installed the shift knob for a Trans Am because I like that. I like the shifters from the Trans Ams and Firebirds more than I did for the ones in the Camaros. Yeah, oh yeah, he's got good taste. My son knows. I still collect Hot Wheels. I still collect Hot Wheels, believe it or not. As a matter of fact, the main ones that I look for is right now is the Hot Wheels in the Trans Ams, anything Pontiac I look for. Anything Ford Maverick I look for, which TFZ Gaming, him and I got to get together because he's got some Maverick Hot Wheels that I want to nab up off of him. Oh yeah, no question about it. But yeah, I collect a lot of Hot Wheels stuff. As a matter of fact, I just got one, and I took it out of its package on purpose. There's a cartoon that's been around for a little while now, and the kids seem to like it, called Fast and Furious Spy Racers. And I actually came across one of the hero cars from that cartoon in a Hot Wheels form. There you go. Yeah. And this is it. Basically, I think it goes to some guy named Tony. And I was looking at it and I thought it was interesting because the front nose actually reminds me of like the 1970 Challenger, the real Challengers. And I really thought that was really interesting, even right down to the Shaker hood scoop. I thought that was really neat. Never seen anything like that. Basically going into, and then it turns to the side and it kind of goes into what looks like a Camaro right down the side until you get to right about here. Then it's got the louvers on the side for like the 70 Boss Mustang or the 70 Mach 1, something to that effect. I'd have to look at it again to get an idea again. I don't have the loop track. I used to have all that stuff when I was a kid. And I thought that was interesting. But then when you get right here to this part of the roof line, okay, basically it goes into a Camaro and then kind of briefly has a little bit of Mustang. It's got Challenger on the front. This has got Mopar as well. And then when you get right about here, it turns into the Maverick. And I thought that was the coolest fucking thing ever. Excuse my language to any of the ladies in the chat. Looking at that, I seen Maverick all across that back, and I'm like, I have got to have this car. Uh, and I wanted, basically, there's a way, right? And what we're going to actually do at some point is a couple of these where you can actually tap them out on the bottom and put screws in. You can remove the bodies, and we are going to look at doing that where we're going to remove the body of this, and Prince Magnum is going to have his own hero car, what it would look like in a Hot Wheels form. Got the Maverick back in. Come on, man. She's screaming for custom, custom Hot Wheels. All right. So I do like that. That is really cool. I've never seen anything like that. All right. So now that we have talked about all of that. We need to get into some product information, okay? Some really cool product information. So, if any of you, the first thing I'm going to say right now here on the channel, and I've said this before, I'm going to say it again when it comes to the automotive world. Number one, in the old days, if your car did not start up and run, there's one of three things. Right, right. Uh, there's one of three things that will. Hi, honey. There's my beautiful wife in our chat. Good to see you, babe. Well, I wish you were home. I wish you were home. For those that do not know, basically, when you have a car from the old days, there's one. If it doesn't start, there's one of three things wrong with your car. Okay, in some way, shape, or form, there's going to be one of three things wrong with your car. Either it's going to be electrical, it's going to be gas, or it's going to be air. Okay, if any one of these three things is not doing what it's supposed to be doing, your engine will not start, your vehicle will not go. All right. So basically, if you got a dead battery, obviously you're not getting electricity to the ignition system. If there's something wrong with your ignition system, there's not electricity going to the spark plugs, meaning that your engine's not going to start. If your engine is not getting the fuel that it requires, it will not start. If it's getting too much fuel, it'll flood out and it won't run. If your engine's not getting enough air, if it's being choked, it will not start. It'll flood. And along with that, if it's getting too much air, that's basically if your engine has a vacuum leak, it's getting unmetered air and it throws everything out of whack. So again, we're back to that. Along with that, if your exhaust is clogged up and not functioning like it's supposed to, it's not getting bad air away from the engine and it will act up. So that is old school tech right there. That is old, working on old cars right down to the letter from the old days. Now, with a modern car, it is the same exact thing. If your modern vehicle, I don't care what they say about electronic fuel injection, I don't care how computerized it gets. If your engine is not getting gas, if it is not getting air, if it is not getting electricity to those key parts, it will not run. So modern engines are the same as the old engines. I don't care what any modern mechanic will say. It is still the same exact thing. Period. End of discussion on that. I don't care what they say. Now, I will say that the only thing that they have done with modern vehicles is they've just complicated how it used to go in basically they've complicated how you do it these days, how it gets the gas, how it gets the air and all that other stuff. Right. That's my beautiful wife. So basically all they did was complicate it, make it more difficult for a mechanic today to work on a modern engine. That's really all they did. And one of the reasons why these engines are notorious for not lasting as long as they do, I want to quote, Scotty from Star Trek 3. Okay, go Towns. Scotty from Star Trek 3, Mr. Dugan himself, he actually said in Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, the more you complicate the plumbing, the easier it is to clog the drain. And that is very true with modern cars, okay? It's the same setup. All they did was just complicate the plumbing, if you will. And that's one of the reasons why that modern vehicles They will last if you take care of them, but they will not hold up compared to what a much more what an old engine will do. If you take care of an old engine, they will last forever if you take good care of them. And that we've already seen a 45-year-old engine still going, coming close to 46 years. Good God, Spirit. So here in just a bit, we will go out and we'll take a look at Spirit, and I'm going to show you some cool stuff. All right. We are going to be doing an oil change sometime this week to Project Spirit. So any of y'all that want to see how an old school oil change works, we're going to get to that. All right, this is Project Spirit. This is what we use in Project Spirit today. This comes with a total of 5 quarts of modern day conventional 30 weight oil. Now, real quick, I did show this off earlier. This is a non-detergent 30 weight oil from Valvoline. Now, the oil in here is still there. We could use this today, and this would have been the same type of oil that Project Spirit back when she was brand new. But there's a problem. The detergent in here, the non-detergent oils had 2 problems. One, if you didn't change it That's a good question. Give me a moment. Let me get through this first, and I'll answer your question. Give me about 5 minutes and remind me again, okay? I'll answer that question. That's a good question. Okay, again, this would have been an oil that Project Spirit would have used back in the day. This is a non-detergent. Now, the detergents that you'll find in modern day oil helps do a couple of things. One, oil back in the old days had a tendency to foam up. And we don't want that. That is a bad thing. It gets into places it shouldn't, and it's just really bad. So that is a bad thing. So the detergent actually keeps foaming down, which is a good thing. The other thing that the detergents in modern oil also does is it helps cut down on sludge. That is a good thing, because if you were to forget to change your oil right away, you've now got sludge building up. Just like the oil for cooking, motor oil breaks down too after a little time, and it doesn't do exactly what it's supposed to do. So with the non-detergent oils, you had to change them before you reached 3,000 miles. If you went beyond 3,000 miles, your engine starts developing sludge, and you'll also find metal shavings inside your oil. This is a bad thing. The non-detergent oil will take you where you can get away with going a little bit above that 3,000 mile marker, but I wouldn't push it. Now with conventional oil, you can go all the way up to 5,000 miles. However, I don't use synthetic oils. I do not use synthetic oils. I do not like synthetic oils, Sam. There's a reason why I don't like synthetic oils. Back in 1996, when I first started turning wrenches, that was a popular thing, starting to use synthetic oils. We found back in 1996 that if your engine had a small leak anywhere, synthetic oils would find that leak and make it 1,000 times worse. So what was once just a teeny tiny oil leak that you didn't notice is now a gushing oil leak because of synthetic oil. I don't know why that is. I've not been able to figure that out, why that has been a thing. Most of us shade tree mechanics back then figured it would be about 10 years before that problem was solved. That would have been in 2006. That problem has not been solved. So here is the disadvantage. If you run a conventional oil, you really only get about 3,000 miles out of that one oil change. After that, you need to change your oil, or you're going to your oil starts breaking down and will do damage to your engine, period. Okay, you'll find metal shavings in it if it's not a quality motor oil or anything like that. You'll find metal shavings in it, and it'll start building up sludge because the detergents start breaking down. That's with conventional oil. Or you can have the trade-off, go up to 5,000 miles with one oil change. But if you've got any oil leaks, it'll leak like a sieve, you know. So there is the trade-off, okay? And you'll pay more money for that synthetic oil. Just kind of how it is. I don't know why that is. For the record, this is actually something that you would find in, say, like an old tractor. You would use something like this in an old tractor. Uh, the irony of that is Project Spirit's inline six would have been used in an old tractor, ironically enough, like an old skidder or something like that. Same type of engine that Ford would have used in some of their old agricultural vehicles, like tractors and skidders. I've actually seen a gas powered skidder that had a tank on the back, used by a company called Townsend, and you would spray this industrial weed killer, and it just killed everything underneath power lines. And that particular vehicle used the Ford inline six. I've even seen them used in wood chippers and things like that. So it kind of makes sense to use what works just fine for those engines. And that is something that we use in Project Spirit, is the straight 30 weight. If you try to use the multi-grade, she'll leak like she doesn't like it. She actually overheats if you use the multi-grade stuff. So my buddy, third gen 83, actually asked the question one time, why we don't use multi-grade. Project Spirit does not like the multi-grade. If you try to use 10W30, 10W40, she does not like it. I could get away with, barely. We've done this before, because I wasn't able to get the straight 30 weight, but we have found that she will accept to a degree. Project Spirit will tolerate 2040 or 2050, in that ballpark area. She'll tolerate it, but she still doesn't like it. Now, along with doing an oil change to Project Spirit, this is something that has to be used in Project Spirit, and that's this STP engine oil treatment. Now, it has to come in this particular container because it has an engine stop leak in it. Problems with, I guess you could say, old school problems with 70s engines. Quality control back in the 1970s was horrible, and you guys have heard me talk about that a lot. The problem with quality control back in the 1970s was the fact that it was almost non-existent. They were in a hurry to get these cars to the dealers, and the dealers to get those people to the customers, because of the fact that the Japanese were now importing vehicles like crazy, and people were buying them because of the gas crisis and all those problems that were coming about. Because back in the 60s, we know we didn't care about gas mileage. We really didn't care. Something like 30 cents, I think even in some cases like 15 cents a gallon. So, that was back in the 60s. And we were now on a new type of gasoline that did not have lead in it. So long gone was the days of leaded gasoline and ethyl gasoline. Yeah, there was actually a time in the United States we actually had a gasoline called ethyl. Basically, it was a high octane leaded gasoline. So for your performance cars, you had to put ethyl in them. So for those that didn't know that, little fun fact from the old days. So because of the fact that quality control, one of the jokes about, you've heard me say it, the joke about those old engines from back in the day, you check the gas, but you fill them up on oil. So that is something that most people did not know. All right. So if you did not know that, that is something that, but the other reason why is STP engine oil has what is known as, they've got a fancy name for it, and it's basically a zinc anti-wear agent, ZDDP. Okay. What does all that bullshit mean? Basically, this contains a zinc. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. All right, we'll get back to the STP engine oil treatment. That is a good question, Mr. Cartoon Movie Maker. You asked a good question. How much is Project Spirit worth? It depends. Okay. You're talking, okay, we've done a lot of work to her, and a lot of the work that we have done is um, it is retro 1970s, okay? So the stuff that we're doing, there are some things that you just don't see done anymore. Along with that, there are some things that you just don't see in a car like that nowadays. Most people, when they get their hands on a car like Project Spirit, a lot of stuff goes away, and they immediately start doing this, and they'll start doing this, and they'll start doing this. So it gets pretty rubber stamp for hot rodding. Yeah, even in the classic car sector, there's a lot of rubber stamp bullshit that happens. Basically, the only thing that changes is the color of the car. So there's that. The fact that Project Spirit is almost a one of a kind nowadays. Let me explain. Here in the United States, this was like 4 years ago when I heard this, and this actually came from the vice president of the International Maverick Comet Association. Not a joke. I got a chance to talk to this guy, and he was really he gave me some interesting knowledge about the Mavericks I did not know. Some fun facts. Here in the United States, and this was as of 4 years ago, so the numbers are probably a little bit different. They made a lot of the four-door Mavericks. The two doors were more popular, but the four doors, they made a lot of them. Most of the four doors were crushed. The ones that are left, most of them are in junkyards or sitting in someone's backyard, rotting away to nothing. Okay, so most of these cars, most of the four doors, the ones that do exist, are barely existing. They just exist on paper. Basically, they've got a title, they are not running. The ones that do run are weekend warriors. Okay. That also being said, because Project Spirit is in that category, and when he told me this, that there's probably only 5% of the Mavericks that were made in the four-door class. There's only 5% of them probably still left in the United States. That doesn't include the ones that are still roadworthy, okay? That includes all of the four doors that are still left on paper that have not been crushed. Now, saying that, the ones that are still left on the road, most of them are either in museums or in someone's private collection, or the fact that they're basically they don't see much time on the road. So those particular four-door Mavericks are usually in pretty good shape, worth a decent coin. Now comes the fact that we're now talking about a daily driven four-door Maverick. This is in a class of its own. Project Spirit still has her original inline six. That we have customized on her are stuff that you would have seen in the 1970s, including that shifter, the three-speed stick shift that's in Project Spirit, also is something that you would have seen way back when. Along with that, because of the fact that there is still so much that is still original in Project Spirit, we are now talking about a one of a kind, without question. So here in the United States, to buy a basket case car starting in 1960, depending, and this will vary depending on the car, all the way up to 1987, when they really stopped building quality cars here in the United States. The going price for one that all that it'll come with is you have the body, you have the frame, you have the rear end. That is it. You don't have anything else. The car could be full of rust. You could drop entire, basically there might be no floor pans. You might not have a wiring harness, no interior, no nothing. That is all you're buying. Oh, that's okay. So basically, the going price for a car like that is $20,000. Now, we include in everything about Project Spirit that I have just said, that she's still daily driven. The things that we've done continue to make her, able to be daily driven and reliable and all that other stuff. You are now talking about a car that jumps from 20,000 all the way up now. So with the work that we have done on paper, Project Spirit would be worth, and this doesn't include some other factors. Just the work that we've done to Project Spirit is worth $35,000. Period. Okay. But we're now we're going to include the rarity factor about Project Spirit. There are fewer four-door Mavericks here in the United States than there are two doors, making her, again, a one of a kind. The stuff that we have done, basically retro 1970s, the fact that she still has her original engine. Now the price starts going up. Even if we rebuilt that inline six and lost the original mileage on that engine, because it's still numbers matching, the price now still continues to go up. Even rebuilding it would not hurt the value at all. Sis, hang on. I'm still looking. It's hard to find those old square bodies. They were all crushed. Yeah, it's hard to find them nowadays. And in a lot of cases, they've all been screwed with because some dipstick, from the inner city, all jacked up the suspension and then put humongous tires on it, thinking it's cool. No, it's not. Don't screw with the classics. Basically, what I'm saying now is now the prices are going up. And because of the rarity factor, because there's still so much. Oh, you found some? All right, you pick one up. We'll start working on it, sis. Now the prices start going up. And because there are people who have actually made offers to buy Project Spirit as far away from where I live here in Missouri to Hong Kong. Hong Kong. You've heard me make that joke here on the channel. You asked that question. How much it should work. You've heard me make this joke that from where they love Project Spirit, from where I love to Hong Kong, that is not a joke, because I've had offers as far away as Hong Kong because of the rarity of the car. And it's probably even someone in the Chinese Communist Party that went over to Hong Kong, because that's still kind of sort of democratic yet. The Chinese Communist Party has not completely thrown out the democracy there. They're working on it. Ironically enough, they're working on it. I have friends in Hong Kong that worry me. Right? Hey, 350s are a good engine. Sis, if you want something even cooler than that, I've got some information you'll want that you could do to that 350 and really make it interesting. But we'll talk about it. I'll share that with you kind of on the lowdown. All right. So now that I've said that, now that I have said all of that, how much is Project Spirit actually worth? Now that I've said all of that, between 120 to 150,000. And she's not even done yet. So when, like my buddy Third Gen 83, who does not realize what he's sitting on because of the car that he's got and all the work that he's done to it, and the fact that it's, that people are seeing it and things like that, what he's done, his car is actually worth more than he probably even knows. No. Project Spirit's worth a lot more than you think. And the irony of it is we bought the car for $1,000 US. So Project Spirit is actually worth, between right now as she sits, $120 to $150,000. So if you wondered, so Mr. Cartoon Movie Maker, if you were wondering how much she's actually worth, now you know. And you're probably sitting there going, oh my freaking God, that is a lot of money. And there are people right now that I know their jaws have just hit the floor, because that's exactly how much she's worth now. And the irony of it is, if we restored Project Spirit to original factory condition You're talking $1 million car. But we are not doing that. The irony of that is my buddy Third Gen 83 does not know what the gold mine he's sitting on. And I am not telling you anything from there. He does not know the gold mine that he's sitting on right now. He doesn't even have a clue. He doesn't. If I told him how much his car is actually worth on the world market, he would hit the floor. He would hit the floor because these classic cars, they don't make them anymore. They don't make them like that anymore. Because the Mavericks were actually they were trying to build that throwaway technology in them, but they did a piss poor job back then of making that throwaway technology. They got better in the 80s, and that's why a lot of cars from the 80s, like the Dodge Omni and cars like that, they're gone for a reason. They are gone for a reason because they were built with crappy technology. They were turd cars. So, all right, back to what I was talking about the STP engine oil treatment. Because of the fact that Project Spirit's inline six, despite it being original, one of the problems is that she does leak oil. Again, quality control in the 70s was horrible. We could actually take and pull her. Chevy, actually GM in general, used to be, the irony of this, used to be a really, really good car company. I would not buy a brand new General Motors product today. And that includes Chevrolet. I would not buy one today. There's a reason why. In about 2003, General Motors realized that they were spending on average to build their cars $22 more than all of the other manufacturers. $22 more. When they discovered that their cars were the best in the world. Period. All General Motors cars were better than anything in the world around this time. When General Motors bean counters, the guys in the offices that don't know diddly squat about building cars, realized that they were spending $22 more in manufacturing their cars. They started cutting those costs. And today, General Motors cannot build a quality vehicle compared to what they could prior to 2003. There, I said it. As a matter of fact, I would even go so far as to say Ford builds a better vehicle today, and Ford does not build a good vehicle today. So there you have it. Basically, you just, with American cars today, you either pick one turd or you pick another turd. And you cannot polish a turd. There, I said it. So, I call it, that's my sis. That's my sis. So there, I said it, that's just the way it is. Okay, period. I said it. But anyhow, in the old days, your old engines, I did not know this for the longest time. There's really two types of guys that when they do oil changes, there's two types of guys in the world. The guys that use oil additives and the guys that don't. This is how it worked in the old days. So in the old days, one of the things that, you had your guys that used no oil additives, and they used one brand of oil, and these were your purists. I mean, hands down, bar none. There was that type of guy. Some guys would say that Pennzoil was the best. Some guys would say Valvoline was the best. And I'm still a Valvoline guy. I just don't use Valvoline today because of the fact that Project Spirit leaks oil. She will go through a quart of oil about every 2 weeks from leaking. It's just the way it is. Again, back to no quality control in the 1970s. And so we have to get the STP engine oil treatment with the stop leak. But the problem with engine oil treatments like this, well, with oil today, they do not add zinc to the engine oil. The old engines, those old push rod engines, what's sometimes called Babbitt engines. I'd never heard this term before, and I actually had to talk to somebody about this. And as long as I've been tinkering with these old engines, I did not know this. I was one of those purists. The old engines need that zinc. There's a reason why they need that zinc, because it helps the engine oil from the wear and tear. Old engine oil used to have zinc, and around 1980, 81, they stopped making. They basically stopped making engine oil that required it. So engines prior to 1980 still needed it. You could get it with an engine oil treatment just like this. That's why I have to put it in Project Spirit, because 1975, her engine still requires that zinc. So it's important that we put this engine oil treatment in it. And of course, they put a fancy name on, well, this treatment has zinc in it. And the fancy name for it is contains zinc anti-wear agent, ZDDP. What the fuck, dude? Just say it's got an anti-zinc wear in it. It's got the anti-wear zinc in it. Period. That's what it's got. That's what it does. Okay. That's why you put it in. Okay. So if you've got an old engine that still has those old parts like that and things like that, you've got to have this. All right. And it reconditions seals and bullshit like that. Normally, sis, you're so mean to Sean. He's actually lurking in the background, so I know he sees what you're saying. But anyhow, so if you've ever wondered about that, why we put this one in, if it was not, what's going on, Think Different? Product information on Project Spirit. We're actually talking about no, I'm not sponsored, but hashtag not sponsored, but I'm telling you guys, what I actually use in Project Spirit, why I use it, and how it might translate to modern vehicles. So, because Project Spirit does require, her engine still requires the zinc. We do this every oil change and about midway through, before the next oil change, around 1,500 miles, I'll put another one of these in for good reason. So that actually helps keep things rocking and rolling, because she's still leaking oil. She's just not leaking in as much as, say, when you're getting closer to the end. So that's why we do that, because it keeps her from leaking so much. Creepy Joe. So that is why we run that in there. Now, we're going to get into some interesting product information. There are some of you out there that use seafoam on your engines. Stop it right now. Do not use seafoam. There have been channels that have been investigating seafoam, and they have found with some care, number one, it does. Basically, there's a product that I use on Project Spirit, and it does the same exact amount of cleaning to the cylinder heads as the seafoam. But they found that the seafoam over time, basically use it no more than one time. After that, don't use it ever again, because they have found that it cracks cylinder heads, it blows seals. It is bad for engines, old and new. It's very bad. Do not use this stuff. It is horrible product. I don't recommend it. You're paying $7 for a product that where I live, it's $7 for a can of seafoam. When you could buy this right here, and it does a whole lot more than seafoam. And believe it or not, this stuff is absolutely amazing. Okay. Product I recommend for anybody out there. This product has been around for a very, very long time. How long has Marvel's Mystery Oil been used? Since 1923. Okay, and we still use it today. This is the best additive on the market. You're not going to get any better. Basically, by following the instructions, it'll tell you literally how much to use on your vehicle. Okay. Um, yeah, we know, sis. It's been around a long time. Been around just like me. Okay. So this product, how long, basically 1923 was when this hit the market, and it still works today. You can basically, if you follow the instructions, basically a half to 1 full ounce per, well, hang on here. Basically, replace 20% of your engine oil with this at your oil change, and it'll bond. Basically, it'll improve the life expectancy of your engine oil. So whereas with an engine that's coming up on, well, and most engines around 100,000 miles will start getting this little tick 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 noise to it. What that is basically that the lifters are wearing. Well, use this, and it'll clear a lot of that up. Basically, Project Lena, put a little bit of this in there, and it clears a lot of any potential ticking noises. Along with that, if you put what the recommended, basically 4 ounces to every 10 gallons of gasoline in a modern vehicle, and it cleans the fuel system, cleans the cylinder heads, helps lubricate the upper valves. Why the hell would you want to use anything else at that point? Okay? Why would you put seafoam in if it cracks cylinder heads, basically screws up your engine with more than one use, when this is cheaper, does the same amount of stuff? Yes, we can. And I know how to do it. Basically, this is the better product. Why would you use anything else? Just follow the instructions. Okay? Again, this is just common sense, old school stuff. And there are people still using this stuff on modern engines. Okay? Why would you use the seafoam just to blow up your engine? Period. But I'm going to tell you all a life hack now with Marvel's Mystery Oil. We're in the life hack area. This is Marvel's Mystery Oil in a spray bottle, okay? There's a reason why I keep it in a spray bottle. And I'm going to show you right now. Let me grab my battery pack. We will take a walk out to Project Spirit. I use this stuff on squeaky door hinges on Project Spirit. This is not a joke. Old cars are notorious for rust. That's just the nature of having an old car. We all know this. You'll go to open a door, clunk. You'll go to close it, clunk. You get that popping from the door pins, right? We all know it. And I know Think Different is somewhere in the background. He'll tell you, oh yeah, that's a commonplace thing. I'm going to show you a life hack. Yeah, because it's made of metal. Made of metal. Kind of how it is. So we're going to take a walk, and I'm going to grab not aircraft remover. This here is basically brake cleaner. So we're going to grab some of this, and we're going to grab my Marvel's Mystery Oil that I have in a spray bottle. Okay? Now, this is a cool life hack. Trust me, it's a little unorthodox, but I promise you guys are going to love it. So we're going to go out to Project Spirit because I do a squeaky hinge. Ooh, I was scared of the dark. Somebody hold me. Another joke that just doesn't seem to die. Project Spirit's driver's side door is starting to squeak a little bit, okay? And this is a commonplace thing, okay? A very commonplace thing with these old cars. So again, it's something that you should just come to expect, and you'll hear it. Let's see. Not bumping into the neighbor's car. No, I'm not really scared of the dark. So, alrighty. I'm not really actually scared of the dark. It just makes for a good joke. Okay, so I'm going to turn this around so you all can see what I'm talking about. All right. Oh, now she's not going to do it. There it is, that pop. We don't want that pop, okay? So I'm going to show you guys a quick hack. We're going to take our brake cleaner, okay? Blast all that away. Okay? Blast all that crap away. Be very careful not to get it on the, to get it anywhere on the door hinges or anything, get it on the interior. I mean, it'll evaporate, it'll be fine, but now all that gunk is away. Okay, so we want that. Now, the next part of this is, where's the cap for this bullshit? The next part of this is we're going to give it a moment. Oh, I love the dark. I love the dark. Okay, now we're going to let that dry. We want this to dry now. Okay, so we're going to give this a moment because the next part of this is we're going to use the Marvel's Mystery Oil on the hinges. We're going to spray it in there real lightly, okay? And you're going to be impressed because, again, even doing this, now we can really hear it because all of that crap is now apparent. But we've cleaned all of this off now, and we should be good enough now. And just let that sit for a moment. Now, it will drip in some crazy places, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. Just take a paper towel and wipe it off, and it doesn't hurt a thing. But give it a moment. No more squeaky hinges. Yeah, hang on a second. Sometimes it takes a little bit, but you'll get the idea. Give it a moment. Like I said, just work it. Or maybe getting close. And this is how you get over that hump. This is an old hack. You work at it and you let it sit and it'll stop squeaking. We did one earlier on the hood. I did this earlier. You've all heard the hood pop and make all sorts of racket. Give that a minute to sit. Takes a moment. Yeah, it could spray as you move the door. Okay, you try doing that one-handed, sis. But basically, I use that there on the hinges, and it doesn't squeak as much. Again, just an old school hack. And I've actually been taught that by some old timers, but we did that on those hinges, and it doesn't squeak as much. Okay, it's a way to kind of save those old school parts. But yeah. And over time, I'll work on it, and then it'll be just fine. But honestly, I already know what y'all are going to be asking. Are you going to start up Spirit at any point? You're going to start Spirit up? Of course we're going to start up Spirit. Come on, I know that's what y'all really want. Again, I'm the host. I'm the host with the most, but Project Spirit's the true star. For good reason. Notice no squeaking when I lowered the hood. It's just squeaking bad. So again, back to, See? It's already getting better. Just got to let it sit. Just got to work on it a little. You just got to work it a little bit. One of them things. All right. A lot of y'all been lurking. Nothing wrong with that either. As long as you guys are taking in some knowledge, I don't give a hoot otherwise. As long as you guys feel like you're getting something out of this stream, that's all that's important. All right. Again, try doing this freaking one-handed here. All right. Again, for those of you who just joining us, I'm going to show you how hard it would be to steal Project Spirit nowadays. Okay, despite the key, well, it's Mother's Day. That reminds me. For all of our mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. Project Spirit's going to give you a happy Mother's Day rev here in just a moment. This is her way of saying happy Mother's Day. But anyhow, this basically, this key ignition here is basically, it doesn't do much because all it does is unlock the steering wheel. You cannot turn the steering wheel unless you have this key. See what I mean? All right. Because Mr. Cartoon Movie Maker asked a few questions once about that. This piece here, y'all seen me paint this? Looks pretty good in there, doesn't it? Turn that to the on position, but that does not start the car. Turns it on though. From there, I will push in the clutch and the brake. Put her in neutral, let out on the clutch, then come up here. She's alive! Still sounds pretty doggone healthy for all these, all these years later. All right, for the moms out there, this is Project Spirit saying Happy Mother's Day to y'all. There you go. Put her in gear, take the keys out, steering wheel's locked, and she's shut down. I'm gonna say I hope y'all appreciate Project Spirit's Happy Mother's Day yell for you. That's our neighbor next to us. He's got our neighbor has got some pretty interesting little rides. Let me tell you, some really interesting little rides. So, there you go. There's all of that. Squeak's almost gone, so we've done a pretty good job as far as that go. Don't tell me what to do, sis. I practically live out of this car some days, But you're right, I do need to clean it out real good. So there you have that. We showed how to do all of that. And she's coming right along. So there is all of that. Real quick, y'all wondering how the mileage is coming? We're getting closer to that 300,000 mile marker. So, let's go back in. Let's talk some more product information. I know y'all... I don't give a crap. Go ahead. Go ahead. So, just don't piss my sister off, okay? She's like, you guys think y'all think I'm nuts. Shoot. My little sister got the craziness market cornered, That's just like, yeah, y'all think I'm nuts. Woo-hoo-hoo. I got my moments. My little sister sometimes outdoes me. That's saying something. Damn, Real quick, again, I know, y'all want to see Spirit a little bit more than me, so we're going to do that. There you go, good old Project Spirit. Some days you just can't get enough of this old girl, right? Right next to me is the neighbor's new project car. I mean, it's in pretty good shape. But I'm not going to show his car because I'm going to ask him. Basically, I'm asking him if he'll let me video his project. Yes, but you don't slap new paint on a car that needs body work, sis. You know this. I know you know this. Okay, yes, she does need a paint job. But she needs body work first. You know this, sis. Slap new paint on a body that's rusted. God. That sounds like something, anyhow. Well, yeah. Well, I don't see you jumping in and giving a hand. We need a welder because there's some rust holes that have to be dealt with. That is actually something that has actually gotten under my skin for a long time. Is living the apartment life. Ooh, I'm scared of the dark. Somebody hold me. So, and you sound like Dad doing that. Just get it done. Well, really? Where am I supposed to keep the stuff to get that job done? I don't see you jumping in anytime. And then again, I don't always get along with my dad so well when it comes to working on cars because he thinks he knows absolutely everything and he has experience. I know to do that, sis, but you can't do that without a welder, okay? You've got to have the welder. You know this. This is simple, common sense stuff you know. How I will do something and how my dad does something, and we've actually butted heads before. As a matter of fact, most people don't know this. Sis, you're about to get a lesson on an argument Dad and I had a long time ago. When I was still a teenager, like 1,000 years ago or some crap like that, I was working. My first car was a '71 Nova. For those that do not know, my dad and I, we worked on it. Yeah, ancient history, right? Right, sis. So we were working on this particular car, and it was getting close to being done. And I was up underneath, working in a particular, working on a particular area that nobody was ever going to see, So I'm like, all right, I'll knock the welds down. We'll hit it with some undercoating and call it a day. There's no need to go any further than that. Why would I need to do that? Well, Dad was like, no, you're going to do it like this. He wanted me to take it all the way down where it was nice and smooth and actually do it like body work. And I'm like, well, no one's going to see that. Who gives a shit? No, you got to do it that way. But then where there was this kind of overhang where there's on the rocker panel, the factory didn't really make sure that that was all nice and neat. I was, because to me, I mean, it's out there on the, that depends, sis. Because the way I was talking about doing it, you prime it and you put the paint on it. You still did all of that. You took it down, but there was no need to take the weld all the way down to where it was flush and actually treat it like a body panel that was going to be outside to the rest of the world. What I'm talking about is it's an appearance thing, just an appearance thing, okay? You're still talking about treating it like, like you're going to condition it where it's supposed to hold up. What I'm talking about is actually taking it to where it looks pretty. There was no need to take it to where it looks pretty because of the fact that it's not out there in the open. The edging that I was talking about was, Dad and I argued about that. He's like, don't spend your time on it. I'm like, why? Because it's, the factory didn't do it, but we should still do it because of the fact that it's out there in where you could see it. But then he's telling me that where they're not going to see, to me, that was a waste of time. And I was so pissed, I traded that car for the 78 Camaro because I didn't want to do any more body work with him around. And to this day, he swears up and down As a matter of fact, him and I got into an argument when that is up to you, that it would be your car. See, there's the problem. If it's my car, I have the right to decide how it's going to be done. If you want to take that time in an area where it's not going to, that is up to you. It is your car. But dad thinks that if he's on the project with you, he has the right to tell you what you are doing. And no, he doesn't. If it's your car, you do it how you want. As a matter of fact, I looked right at dad when you were probably like, I think you were just barely in kindergarten. And I took dad up to a car that was actually that I had been driving, that 77 Delta that my ex had trashed. He said, I was talking about body work. He's like, you don't do body work. I said, I don't do body work with you. Let me show you. And I took him up there and I showed him a body panel that I had worked on. And I said, feel right here. And he's like, smooth. I said, there's actually a low spot I'm not completely happy with. Not necessarily, sis. Not necessarily. It's one of those things that honestly and truthfully, it's dad pounded that into your head, and that isn't 100% true. Okay, that's not 100% true. 9 times out of 10, if they get under there, they're checking to just make sure it's not rusted. Okay, they're not going to care otherwise. If they see that you've worked on it where the rust was, 9 times out of 10, that's going to make them a little bit happier to know where it is at that point. See, that's a dad thing, and that's not 100% true. That's his thing, okay? And I have found that that's not always the case. There are some people that are sticklers like that, but honestly and truthfully, if it bothers them that much, buy the frickin' car, take it home, and fix it yourself. But again, that's a dad thing. Well, when I showed him that, he's like, well, he's like, I can barely feel that low spot. I said, I can. I said, I know it's there. I said, and it pisses me off because I didn't quite get it right. He's like, so there was a dent here? I said, yeah, it was like that from the dealership. And I explained, how I got it down to bare metal and worked with it. And he's like, so basically you're saying there was a huge dent here and you fixed it? Yes. Why don't you do body work? I said, I don't do body work with you. And I told him the same exact story. He was pissed. He didn't like it. I said, if it's my car, it is my choice to make. If you don't like it, get off the project because it's not your car to tell what's to be done. If you don't like it, don't touch it. Because if I decide that is the direction I'm going, then I'm perfectly okay with that decision. If you don't like it, don't touch it. And that was actually what I told my own dad, and he was pissed. He's like, well, I said, I didn't ask your help for that part of the project. And he kind of stood there. Well, I guess you didn't. I said, so why are you getting pissed? I didn't ask for your help. And the fact of it is, if I asked your help, there's a specific way I want it done. And if it's that way that it's going to be done, if you don't want to help me with it because you don't like the way it's being done, I'll take it elsewhere. Okay? It's fine. No harm, no foul. If you don't like the way I'm doing things, don't touch the project. And there are some people out there that are that hard-headed. You ask them for, I just need, your help with this, or need a little bit of help with this, that sort of thing, or just, and automatically somehow it's their project. No, it is not. It's still, the car's still in your name. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm. No, Mr. Cartoon Movie Maker, don't lowball a guy like me. We don't appreciate it. I know you don't know this, Mr. Cartoon. You don't know this. I know you were joking, but be careful doing that in the old school hot rod community. We actually take offense. I know you were joking with me, but that is actually an offense. Really, sis? I'll kick your butt. You're my sister. Don't think this old man can't either. Yeah, I know you were teasing, but believe it or not, be careful doing that if you were ever at a car show. Okay, so that's a little bit of old school 500 projects for 35,000. And then I would consider it. Okay, so now that we've talked about that, Project Spirit to keep her fuel filters still up to snuff. Now I did get this technique from Dad. Once a month, this is the product you want. Okay, how does this translate to today? Do you want to change a fuel filter in a modern car? Okay, you're in the ballpark. What, do you really want that car? You really want Project Spirit? Man, you're talking a lot of money. Uh, this this stuff is a godsend even in modern vehicles. Please note, fuel injector, carburetor cleaner. It does both. Now, there used to be a time when you used to be able to get one for carburetor and then the other one for fuel injection. They used to be separate. But now Gumout has to do it this way because of the fact that most cars today don't have carburetors. Uh, Finding carburetor, carbureted engine. See what I would say? 35,000 and I would start considering it. But you also got to remember though, okay? Project Spirit, Princess Faye bought me Project Spirit legitimately. She bought me Project Spirit. She had some money left over from a student loan, and we needed a car. And I said, I'm sick and tired of plastic cars. I don't like modern vehicles. I said, we need something that's going to hold up. Yeah, it's going to be a struggle, but it'll hold up. And she's like, what do you think? And I said, let's find a car out of the 70s. And that was a rude awakening for me. No, you don't do that to a modern car. Well, to a classic car. There are just some things you don't do. That's one of them. Uh, you can do it with a modern car, and it is pretty neat looking if you do it right. Is it well? Okay, with the original street glow or underglow, whatever you want to call it, those neon tubes that they had under the like what you would have seen in the first two Fast and Furious. What about a respray? We're gonna get to that. Um, but those original tubes, those were really heavy. What's going on filming? The Ultimate Grave Taker. Welcome to the live stream. I'm actually talking about products that we use on Project Spirit. So a lot of this product information, you're going to have to go watch playback because there's a lot of product information we've went over. Currently, right now, I'm answering a couple questions that Mr. Cartoons got about Project Spirit and some of the products that you'll still see out there. And I'm actually answering the question, would I put neon lights underneath Project Spirit? And the answer is no. There's just some things you don't do to classic cars or to, well, technically, okay, Project Spirit, we call her a classic erroneously. She is no longer a classic. She's actually an antique. In a couple more, well, Project Spirit right now is 45 years old, and Spirit is going to be 50 years old, in 5 more years, actually in 4.5 more years. So to call Project Spirit a classic is actually wrong. Project Spirit is an antique. So I legitimately daily drive an antique car. I know that's really hard for all of us to swallow. She's an antique. And depending on where you live, here in Missouri, let me put it like this. Here in Missouri, 20 to 24 years is a classic car. 25 years or older is antique. And 25 years or older, you can actually get historical plates. So there are now, our neighbor has just bought, not too long ago, he actually just brought it home the other day, a 1990 Nissan 300ZX. Okay, and this thing is customized beyond belief. That car could actually have historical license plates. Not a joke. A 1990 Nissan 300ZX can actually have, without question, historical license plates in the state of Missouri for an antique car. So to call Project Spirit a classic is actually wrong. So there, I just said it. I drive an antique car, which technically by car standards here in Missouri, I am actually an antique. Yeah, I said that. Anyhow, where were we? So there's just some things you don't do to modern to the classic cars. Now, when you're talking about we were talking about underglow or the street glow stuff. How much is Project Lena worth? That's a good question. Let's see, Project Lena. I'm actually going to have to go to the calculator for this. Let's see, 2003 minus it's 2020. Project Spirit is 17 years old. She is she's actually getting in about 3 more years, she is going to be a classic car. However, she will never, even though she's going to fall into that classic car status, she will never exactly be a classic car. So unfortunately, Project Spirit will depreciate over time. Project Lena is actually not worth very much. We bought her for after all of the loan stuff and everything, we spent about $6,000 on Project Lena buying her. How much is she worth today? In the condition she's in, about $2,000. But Princess Faye is pretty attached to it, so don't even ask. That's how much she's worth. Now, when she hits classic car status in about 3 years, that may or may not go up. It kind of depends on the condition that Project Lena's in and how well she's been maintained and all that other stuff. So, and anything that we've done, that'll kind of depend. Okay, so unfortunately, it'll just kind of depend. How much is she worth right now? About $2,000. But anyhow, back to the underglow stuff. The original stuff that you've seen back in the first 2 Fast and Furious movies, that particular underglow stuff, I don't recommend for any vehicle at any time. That stuff was really bad. It was a big drain on your alternator. A lot of guys found that out the hard way, that you had to upgrade alternators a lot. Now today with modern day LED stuff and things like that, yeah, I mean, you could totally get away with it, but would you put that on something like Project Spirit? And the answer is a big fat freaking no. You don't do that because that actually lowers the value. It goes the other way. So don't do that. And for the record, we started seeing that stuff pop up in the 2000s. Well, I'm sorry, in the 1990s, we started seeing that crap. I remember seeing that for the first time on a 3rd generation Camaro in around 1994. It was the first time I ever seen something like that, and it was done very classy, very classy. I really liked how they did it. It was done in just a couple of spots and wasn't the entire underneath of the car. But it was really neat how they did it. Now we're starting to see this bullshit show up on lifted pickup trucks, and I'm not impressed. I wouldn't do it. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about, the underglow. The underglow is not the best way to go nowadays. Underglow on a vehicle nowadays is not worth your time and effort. It's expensive. It's a drain on your neons, actual neons like they used in the underglow or the street glow or any company like that. Those neons that go underneath are very heavy. They're not cost effective. They're brittle to some degree. They're a strain on your alternator. No, I would not go that route. So definitely not very cost effective. I wouldn't even recommend it on Project Lena. And that would have been a thing that you would have done in the early 2000s. But I wouldn't even, the LEDs, though, the modern LED stuff, yeah, you can totally get away with that. Yeah, I said it. I know some people frown on that stuff, but I'm going to say it right now. There is, in the hot rod world, there's cruisers and there's bruisers. If you're building a bruiser, no, it is pointless to do that. If you're building a cruiser, yeah, frickin' do it. It's all for show anyways. Frickin' do it anyways. Who cares what that jackass that says, oh, you got to do it a certain way. No, you have to do it a certain way. The other guy doesn't. So piss off. Again, you do you. How many times y'all hear me say that? You do you. Period. Some people. But anyhow, so you've seen how the Marvel's Mystery Oil works. And we've talked about this particular product right here. This is amazing stuff. Again, with your old Babbitt engines, you have to have either in the blue, or in my case, I got to have the silver for the engine stop leak stuff. And of course, we talked about motor oil. Okay. And that pretty well covers the unusual products. Now, I am going to talk briefly about when you do oil changes. We do need to talk about a particular something that a lot of people get kind of fussy about. So let's talk about oil filters. Oil filters, okay? Now, we're going to take Project Spirit, a Fram oil filter. Actually, yeah, this will still work. This is a Fram oil filter, and some people still look down on Fram because they had one time where they kind of goofed something up and their oil filters kind of collapsed in on themselves and engines got blown up. They have fixed that problem. It was a one-time deal. So this is an oil filter for Project Spirit. Please note the size, okay? Now I don't know how in the world I found something like this just kind of laying around, but this is an actual oil filter from when we had our 1996 Ford Mustang, better known as Project Beauty. This is the oil filter that went on her. This is an STP, but this is the size of oil filter that went on Project Beauty when we had her. Yes, I've thought about doing my AA sponsor, Soberman, lives in Branson, so we may be doing that. But take a look here. This is the one for the 3.8 Ford V6. Okay, this is the one for Project Spirit's Inline 250. This is not apples to apples. Okay. For some reason, auto manufacturers have started making the oil filters smaller, and they've actually started going to back to the old canister style filters. What do I mean by that? They do not spin on and off like this anymore. Basically, they go inside of a little canister, and you have to remove a top, pull the filter out, and then you drop a new one in. Now, we used to use this way back when. But for some odd reason, we found that really was, in some engines, it did great. In others, not so great. So why would you go back to that design if we found that this design worked just fine? Because your engine's designed to not last. They don't want your engine to last. If your engine lasts, you don't buy new cars. So, believe it or not, They started making oil filters smaller and nobody paid attention. Along with that, they basically went to a design that's iffy at best. So your engines are not designed to last. So when you do an oil change, one of the things that we have to figure in for something like this, this will just about hold an entire quart of oil. So Project Spirit's Inline 6 will hold a grand total of 4 quarts of oil in her oil pan, but we have to figure in 1 extra quart for her oil filter. This, yes, I would say maybe a half a quart. And with modern engines, good luck. Because they're not very forthcoming about that, are they? Shoot, there's actually some new vehicles today that, believe it or not, some new vehicles today don't even have dipsticks to check the oil. So you're screwed. If that thing needs to be topped off, you don't even have a clue. Don't even have a clue. You gotta trust the dummy light? Oh, real quick. I bought these on sale. Walmart was no longer carrying them. Believe it or not, it's actually heavy for its size. It's actually heavier than the Fram filter. I was actually impressed with that. And they were basically on sale. If I remember correctly, I bought 2 of these for something like 89 cents. And I'm like, shit. I mean, can't beat that. And I mean, it does feel like it actually has a good hefty filter in it. So I was impressed with that. So I'm probably gonna, I got these on backup, but I always keep a couple oil filters on hand just in case. Just in case. Because it's sometimes hard to get these old filters. So again, when you do an oil change your oil filter. There are actual people out there. What's going on? Yeah, they're not bad. Mr. Gamer and BRFC. Real quick, I meant to talk about this yesterday, but I got sidetracked. I got chasing rabbits again. Mr. Gamerin is one of our most illustrious members of the Maverick Nation. He is a veteran of Her Majesty's Royal Marine Corps. Her Majesty's Royal Marine Corps. We consider him to be one of our honored members of the Maverick Nation because of his service. That he was actually in Egypt, serving his country, and to have someone who is without a question such a veteran of the military, but not just any veteran of any military, but a veteran abroad in another part of the world. It is an honor and a privilege when Mr. Gamerin is in chat with us. Without a question, I consider him to be one of our most illustrious members of the Maverick Nation, just because of his service within the world. Yeah, I've not seen what you've got going on yet, Gamer, and we'll have to definitely check that. I'm going to have to take a look at that. I've been busy today. We have some new video footage of Project Spirit. We have the new opening for our edited content. Ooh. Anyhow. Right? So I wanted everyone to, I want everyone to know that Mr. Gamerin, I am fantabulous. We've been talking Project Spirit, some of the products that we use on her. But yeah, believe it or not, that I was actually really surprised compared to the Fram filter. There's not much weight to the Fram filter, but when I picked up the SuperTech filter from Walmart, that actually has a lot of weight to it. And I was sitting there thinking, it's a cheap filter. I mean, I'll use it in a pinch. Nope. I'm glad that I did. But yeah, I was actually impressed by that. I'm like, what the frick? Also, while I'm at it, yeah, Crocs World, I'm telling you, that's like, over here, we got Legend of Zelda. For Gamer, and it's Crocs World, which I I always get a kick out of watching them play it. It's so much fun to watch, you know. I would love to see you live stream that sometime. Right, right. And of course, we got a new product for Project Spirit that I'm looking forward to trying out. Right, it's a cute game. It's a cute game. This is actually a new speaker that I picked up. This is a Bluetooth speaker, obviously. But one of the things that impressed me was it has a Bluetooth. Well, it also allows me to connect to my phone, and I can actually use this as basically a speaker phone connected into my phone. Yeah, Sean's lurking somewhere in the background. He's lurking somewhere in the background. My sis has been trying to pick on him the entire time. But we're looking at trying this out because it's supposed to have a Bluetooth design that when someone calls me, you know, obviously on my cellular device, I can actually talk to them hands-free set and could talk to them while driving down the road in Project Spirit. So I've got to try this out. I'll have to tell you about it, but basically pick this up from Walmart of all the things. So this is a new product that we'll be trying out. I'm not real big on a lot of tech inside Project Spirit, just because I don't want to mess with that. But if it is something that I could put in, take out, put in, take out, that basically means that this will allow me to kind of have that some of that technology inside Project Spirit without actually having it in there, you know, for car shows and things like that. And this just drops right inside the cup holder. Right, it's not a permanent thing. So if we need to, we could swap it out. So this is a pretty neat little something. And of course, the cell phones we can use any GPS bullshit on, and you know things like that that we might need. But you know, so it's just one of them things. I've got to try it out and see how it works. I've had something like that in Project Spirit before, where I've actually had a Bluetooth hands-free device, but it was a giant turd. And what it didn't give the reception that I liked. So it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't that great either. So, one of them things. Yeah, I actually had something like that. But anyhow, we started talking about this particular product right here. This is called Gum Out Fuel Injection Carburetor Cleaner. Now, this is something that I use in Spirit, and we actually also use this in Project Lena. If you have a modern car where the fuel filter is inside of the gas tank, you definitely want this stuff. This cleans the fuel filters. It keeps them from getting clogged up. Folks, if you've ever had to change a fuel filter that's inside of a gas tank, I promise you, you're going to hate that bullshit. That is something that is extremely cuss-worthy work. Don't do that to yourself, because if you have to drop that gas tank, you're going to be running into the hassle of taking it down, putting it back. It is a pain in the neck. And then if you have to take it to a shop, you're talking about a lot of money. So if you've got a modern car, use this stuff at least once a month. I recommend it, okay? Pick it up. It is not that expensive. Once a month with a full tank of gas, okay? That's it. You will love that you did it, all right? And no, I'm not sponsored by these people. This is one of those products that my dad taught me about, and I still do it today. I'm telling you, I promise you, use this every once in a while in your gas. Use this once a month in your gas, and once every oil change, once a month, okay, with a full tank of gas. And just when you go to get your gas, make sure that you've got this in the car. Put this in the gas tank and then fill it up all the way to the top. Don't overfill with a modern vehicle, but fill it all the way up to the top. It'll be the best thing that you did, and it'll keep your fuel filters from getting clogged up. Unless you have a car like Project Spirit, where you just expect every 3 months you're going to be changing that first fuel filter, because Project Spirit actually has 2 fuel filters. Yeah, that's my design. I installed a second fuel filter so I don't have to change one on the carburetor and run the risk of monkeying those damn threads up. I change that once every 6 months. So if you ever wondered about that, that's a design feature from yours truly. But if you've got a modern car, you're not going to be able to get to that fuel filter as often as possible. Trust me, it's your best friend. This is your best friend right here. So you don't have to change it as often. Because if you don't, oh shit, man. You are talking about a mess of trouble. A mess of trouble. All right. Now, I'm going to tell you all a little secret. There are some jackasses out there that are going to tell you to do this to a modern vehicle, and don't you dare listen to them. There is actually people that will tell you to use this on your mass flow air sensor for your modern day fuel injection. Don't you listen to them. There's actually a spray for your mass flow air sensor that you spray on there. If you use this, you will screw it up. So don't listen to those mechanics out there. There are mechanics that will tell you to do that. No, this stuff is perfectly fine for spraying nasty stuff off of your engine, or for what it was meant to, spraying off the, cleaning brake cleaner. But when I'm going to be going to car shows, I will spray this. It evaporates. It doesn't hurt a damn thing on your car. Okay. It doesn't mess with and it doesn't mess with electronics on modern cars like you would think. It evaporates, doesn't hurt a freaking thing. So if you've got a modern car designed for car shows, use this. Don't use that steam. Don't steam clean those engines. Don't do anything like that. I don't even steam clean Project Spirit's engine. Why would you even do that to a modern engine? Because there's so many electronics under there, you'll fry them. So don't do that. Use this. Doesn't interfere with anything. Or use WD-40. WD-40 was actually designed to repel moisture, and it's good at cleaning stuff. So this or WD-40 or carburetor cleaner, perfectly fine on modern engines if you're going to clean them. Don't steam them. So but this is what I use on Project Spirit. This is what we also use on Project Lena. Doesn't interfere with anything. When you're trying to clean those engines for car shows, it is a little harsh if you've got some custom paint under there. Just kind of one of them things, so do be careful with that. But carburetor cleaner doesn't hurt a freaking thing. So that's just some product information that if you ever wondered about that. Where is it? Okay, some more product information. And again, I am not sponsored by any of these companies. I'm just showing you what I use. If you're painting something on your car and you ever get any overspray, this is some good shit. Okay, it'll take that overspray off and won't affect the finish of your vehicle. We've used this before on overspray. Doesn't affect a thing. Matter of fact, we actually had to use a little bit on Project Spirit because when we were painting her back, painting that taillight panel, we actually did get some overspray that went around the side on her driver's side. We used a little bit of this, all gone, and didn't affect the old paint. I was sitting there going, that old paint, either A, it's going to hold up really well, or B, it's not going to hold up worth a damn because it's old. But this is some good stuff. It's called Oops. And so if you're doing show car stuff, that's some good shit right there. Oh, for the record, the only thing that has ever been sprayed with this and hasn't exploded has been Project Spirit. We've used this on Project Spirit. And that is the only thing that has not exploded here on this channel with the moment you used it on it. Okay? Project Spirit. Go figure. We've used it on all sorts of stuff. What, a pod racer, helicopters, even the USS Defiant. Well, it was, the Defiant, the Enterprise, 2 Enterprises we've blown up. We've used it on all sorts of stuff. The only thing that hasn't blown up with the use of it is Project Spirit. So Project Spirit is resistant to aircraft remover, if you ever wondered. Oh God, that's funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny stuff. Oh my gosh. So, all right. Oh man. Um, well, real quick, while we're talking about stuff that's here in the office, some product information and things like that, we do need to talk about a particular camera mount that we made. Okay. Now, for those that don't know, here on the Prince Magnum channel, to get those awesome shots that go out over the hood of Project Spirit or the hood of Project Lena, to get those amazing shots, we have some amazing 1080 pixel black web cameras, HD quality, amazing cameras. I love these cameras. We've had these cameras for a couple years and they've done an amazing job. Yep, here it comes. So much so that we have used these cameras for everything here on the Prince Magnum channel. We use them for all sorts of shots now. We are starting to move away from it because we have a new HD camera, but for a lot of shots that require the camera to be small and things like that, we still use them. Amazing quality. However, because they're dash cams, there is no other mounts out there. There's no mounts anywhere for them other than for mounting them on your windshield on the dash. So I needed a camera stand. Since there is none available, I figured the best thing to do is make my own. So that's what I did. I went out behind HQ, cut down a tree. I cut down my own tree. As a matter of fact, normally the trees that I'm talking about, usually they're really small, and the city comes through and cuts them down to keep the snakes down because we got families with a lot of kids in the area. So I figured, why don't I cut down one for myself and use the wood from that tree to fashion together some projects that I've been wanting to do. So in order to do that, like I said, I went in, cut down a tree, and I cut out a section of wood to make my own camera stand. And this is the exact camera stand that I made. So what I did was I carved out this section right here, kind of flattened it, carved out this section here. And then now the camera sits right in there perfectly. And we've talked about it, how it sits in there so perfectly. But then over here, the lens sits right there perfectly. Okay, but to get that where it sat perfectly, I had to take a file, this half moon-shaped file, just like this. And I had to lay it up here and work back and forth, until it was cut perfectly. Okay, and then now the lens sits perfectly right there. So because I took this file right here and used it on this block of wood, that must mean I'm good at filing and should try my hand at being a secretary. There it is. Sean's somewhere in the background. I know he's got to be. Everybody's favorite joke. There it is. Everybody's favorite joke. Besides aircraft remover. I think aircraft remover is the favorite joke, though. And after the live stream, I've got another aircraft remover to make. I promise you, I will have another aircraft remover. There's Queen. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Gamer and I mean, hot chocolate. Yes. Gavin John is the only one that I think knows about the infamous homemade hot chocolate episode here on the channel from almost, 3 years ago now? And it was a surviving romance episode. I went and edited this video where I was sitting kind of back in here actually. And I was on camera. You couldn't find it? You couldn't find it? Hang on a second. Hang on. I was actually filming I pointed in The Office. And that was when The Office did a whole lot. Ooh, I scared of the dark. Somebody hold me. Okay. Hang on a second here. Let's go. That's another joke that doesn't seem to go away whenever I have to walk through a dark area and I'm on camera. All right. So, I honestly think that's one of Queen's favorites too. Queen Bee's. I think that's one of her favorite jokes. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna actually pull that video and drop the link in the in the chat. Since there's a few people that that I think everyone has a favorite joke, but I think across the board, the favorite joke, without question, is still aircraft remover. I think that is still the ultimate favorite joke. So now I'm gonna go and since all of you want, I'm gonna go into I scared of the dark. Hang on here. Oh, that was the Mother's Day episode from a couple years ago. Gosh, some of these videos I've forgotten that I even did. Son of a, oh, there it is. Surviving Romance. Homemade hot chocolate. Absolutely a great video if you've never seen it. Literally 3 years ago. You guys are going to love this. 1.3K views on this video. That is impressive. So I'm going to drop that in the description. Well, not in the, I'm going to drop that as a link so you guys will have it. Okay. Come on, you. There it is. There's the link to the homemade hot chocolate episode. Now, Gavin John was actually talking about part of the opening. And I think he's the only one that has actually really seen this episode. It was back, that's been a minute. Oh my gosh. We have a total of 10 likes. Thank you so much. But basically what it was is I was sitting back here in kind of like almost like a lawn chair type deal. And I was looking at the camera and it was like I had a sheet, a grocery list. You know, I'm like eggs, milk, you know, I'm saying what's on the list. And then I get to hot chocolate mix. And then you hear this record scratch, like, wait a minute. And then I'm like, why may, you know, basically, why may, you know, buy a hot chocolate mix? Why not make your own? And I throw the paper off. Here's the honest to goodness truth, kind of behind the scenes. There was nothing written on that paper. There wasn't a single thing. If there was, it was something stupid. Okay. That's all it was. There was nothing actually. I was just acting. I was literally just acting on camera. There was nothing on that piece of paper at all. I was literally acting that piece out. And then I walked through the steps of making a homemade hot chocolate mix that you can, I mean, literally, you can make it and it's good. And every now and again, I make some. It's amazing. And then you know, you've got some for a little while. It's good stuff. I have some actually made. I'll show you guys, you know, but we keep an actual huge like thing of hot chocolate mix and then you make your own and it's actually better than the store-bought stuff. The only thing good about the store-bought stuff is it's convenient. Oh, you saw it too? Yeah. So that was actual acting for me on camera. There's another one that most people don't know about called Surviving Romance Food on the Fly. And I actually do some acting in there. Princess Faye had no idea what the hell I was doing, hadn't a clue. Um, and I act like I'm crying in the video. If you've never seen that one, it is absolutely hilarious. And the thing I show how to do is my barbecue bacon wrapped smokies, which ironically is an absolute favorite at my job. Anytime we talk about bringing food in, I will get asked to make the barbecue bacon wrapped smokies, and I have to bring them in. But the recipe's still pretty much the same. But if you've never seen that one, actually has acting in it. I laugh at that one. I am a straight up meat eater. I'll eat most anything anyways, but I mean I like some vegan foods and I do like some vegetarian foods, but don't ask me to stay vegan or vegetarian. It's not my thing. Um, I'm just, I'm sorry. I love a good hamburger. You're not taking that from me. Um, come on. Would you eat a corpse? Well, technically speaking, um, if you're eating a hamburger, technically you are eating a corpse. If you're eating fish, you are eating a corpse because that food is dead. So technically speaking, if you are a meat eater, you are eating a corpse, technically. So yes, I guess you could say I would. Those technicalities I catch you all on from time to time. Sad face, I need coffee. Expecting that as an answer, were you? Wasn't it? Oh, I was scared of the dark. Somebody hold me. True tradition here on the channel. All righty. So, we got some cleaning to do in the kitchen. We've got a Surviving Romance live stream probably coming before you know it. So we're definitely going to be doing that. I know all of you been asking, when are you going to do another Surviving Romance live stream cooking episode? And I am shooting for Tuesday on that. Don't hold me to it. Anything can happen between now and Tuesday. Basically, if I have everything that I need to do the oil change and the weather is absolutely permitting, you damn Skippy, I'm going to take advantage of that and show you guys. I do not remember that TV show. You got to remember, I don't watch much TV. What are we having? Now that's a good question. We are probably going to have pan-fried fish fillets. Or we might do a fish and chips. It's been a while since we've done fish and chips. About a year ago, we did a fish and chips episode, and no Rocky Mountain oysters. No. Cameron's going. Oh my gosh, I love them. Pan fried, yeah. Oh yeah. I make an amazing pan fried fish fillet. One of these days we'll have to do another biscuit and gravy episode. That's still very popular. Anytime I go live and do biscuits and gravy, people go nuts for that. Oh my gosh. Everybody loves fish is always good. Oh yeah, fish is amazing with rice. I've actually did a live stream long time ago. Did a Surviving Romance live stream where I did brown rice, and there are people. You didn't see the last one? Well, technically speaking, I think we did. I did a breakfast. I did breakfast burritos in the last cooking live stream. Sticky rice, um, and well, I did a risotto. First time ever done it on did it in a live stream, and it was good. It was really good. Princess Bay actually really. No, I have not. I've not been there. There's actually a restaurant that Princess Faye and I consider our favorite. It's a bit of a drive, but it's worth it. And I know Think Different will know exactly where I'm talking about. The Pig up in Fredericktown. That is an amazing place to eat at. Oh my God. If you love old school diners or old school drive-ins, that is, oh man, there's nothing like it. Oh man, nothing like it. There's another good one that's across in Amazingly, the best places to eat are up in Fredericktown with B and. You see, I told you he knows. And over there in Fredericktown, you also know about the Dairy Bar, right? Tack on about another 5 to 10 minutes from where I live, you know. But there's a place called the Dairy Bar that's also amazing. Used to be at one time a Dairy Queen, but they lost their franchise with Dairy Queen, so they just turned it into something else. It's absolutely. Would I use sausage? I have. I have used sausage. I prefer to use bacon. I will make my own homemade bacon bits and then crumple it up and put it on top of the gravy, and I will make an amazing bacon gravy. People love the bacon gravy that I. If you do it right, it's just over the top amazing. And sage. I've not tried sage. I will oftentimes add red pepper flake to my gravy. The reason why I will add a little bit of red pepper flake is it just kicks it up that extra notch. And the red pepper flake that I usually use, people just sprinkle on pizza as topping. Ooh, Princess Faye and I have been. Hey, what's going on, Chairman? We're actually winding down on the live stream, my man. You missed out. We've been streaming for a good minute. Um, I'll have to give it a shot. I'll have to give it a shot in one of my next ones. Yeah, Chairman, we've been streaming for a good minute. We talked about some products that we use on Project Spirit, and even did a couple of life hacks. Project Spirit. We even had her running for a minute. Project Spirit gave a happy Mother's Day to everybody. Yeah, yeah, we love our old girl, right? We love good old Project Spirit. Oh, also, Harold, Harold's got a new video up. Harold's got a new video up. I gotta get over there and check that out too. Yes. We've been into a couple haunted houses before. My favorite one that we went to, amazingly enough, was up in Fredericktown. The firefighters and police department put on this uh right. We went to this haunted house that up in Fredericktown that the firefighters and police department put on, and it was just absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I did not get scared. Princess Faye did, because they did an amazing job making it absolutely frightening. And as a matter of fact, they took you on a haunted hayride before you got to the haunted house, and they'd had stuff dropping out of the trees, just all sorts of amazing stuff. And at one point, they would actually go and pull someone off the hayride. The matter of fact, it was the Fredericktown police chief that that was actually manning our hayride, and it was so cool. I mean, he's like, I already lost one person on the last run. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome, and it was amazing how they did it. Just an amazing. You paid $5 per person, and you went in, and they explained the rules, and you had to sign kind of this waiver sort of thing, and you went in, you did the haunted hayride, then you got to the haunted house itself, and it was just amazing in there. And now they did get me with one jump scare where they dropped something out of the tree, and it was like a supposed to be like a body. It scared the hell out of me for a brief moment, but the rest of the time I was just impressed with the acting that those people did, and it was amazing. And I mean, I laughed a lot because I was so impressed with their acting, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Princess Faye, it scared the hell out of her. She did a lot of screaming, and it was so much fun. We took Project Spirit up there, and people recognized Project Spirit up in Fredericktown right away. They're like, "Wait a minute, you work over?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah, that's where I work. I worked at the this was during the time that they were rebuilding the McDonald's that I work at. They were rebuilding it. So I was out in the Fredericktown. So I would drive from Bonne Terre, Missouri, all the way out to Fredericktown every day. And wow, that was about a half an hour drive because, I don't, I take it easy on Project Spirit, especially at that time because we had that hub going out. That was before the front disc brake conversion. So that was a good while back. So we would go out there. I would drive out there every day, and I told Princess Faye they've got a haunted house, and I said that they're doing all the way up until Halloween, and this was back in 2017. And Princess Faye's like, they've got a haunted house, Fred, let's go. So we jumped in Project Spirit. We went out there on Halloween night and had she had the piss scared out of her. You know, she had the piss scared out of her. So yes, we would go to a haunted house. Um, we try not to go. It's getting because of my PTSD. Um, I have to keep a very level head. I cannot get the adrenaline rush. Uh, Gamer, thank you for being here. Again, Gamer and BRFC is our amazing veteran from Her Majesty's Royal Marine Corps. So if you all didn't know that, he is one of our illustrious members who has served in the. You made a new video? I'll get over there and check it out, brother. You know to drop. You know you're supposed to drop the link when you do that, right, Mr. Cartoon? Right? Okay. Just double checking. Uh, you're supposed to put the link in. Yeah. So we could get to that video. But yes, thank you. Thank you, Ian, for being here with us tonight. I know it's late where you're at. Very late, early, early morning. So if y'all did not know that, if y'all did not know, I yes, I did, I think. I've not been in Discord a whole lot lately. I was in there earlier today. But yes, thank you. I need to get over there. I need to check out some stuff. It's been very, like I said, today I spent a lot of time doing some video stuff. I am going to be releasing kind of like a video of all of the new openings that you're going to see with Project Spirit. And I know how much y'all does love Project Spirit. She's a lot of fun to drive. A lot of fun to drive. She does that inline six still sounds pretty dang healthy. I mean, it's not a V8, but it still sounds good after all these years, for an inline six. You can't say nothing bad about that. 45-year-old engine still sounds good. All right. So again, today is Sunday. Tomorrow is loaded content. So heads up. We got a lot of we'll have some loaded content for tomorrow. Yes, I will be doing an aircraft remover. I have a ship that I'm going to blow up. Y'all know that. Y'all know it. I'm going to blow up something. For the record, again, the only thing that has withstood aircraft remover has been Project Spirit. Surprise, surprise. The star of the Prince Magnum channel is resistant to aircraft remover. So now that we've done that, so again, aircraft remover, Legend of Zelda. I think everyone's like, yes, Project Spirit, the only thing that's withstood aircraft removal. Um, all of that being said, that does bring us to where we do Tuesday. Tuesday is kind of up in the air. I'm shooting to do a surviving romance cooking episode. That is what we're shooting for. But if I have the chance to change Project Spirit's oil that day, I'm going to take the opportunity and do so. But right now the plan is to do a cooking live stream. But that's kind of, basically, you guys understand. If I have the opportunity to get something done to Project Spirit and take you all along with me, I'm going to. Basically, kind of show you some cool stuff. Wednesday, again, if we didn't get to the oil change the day before and we have the opportunity on Wednesday, we'll take that advantage. But we're shooting for Wednesday to be a live stream magic show again. We're going to do magic again Wednesday. I know a lot of people enjoy the magic show live. And again, especially for those people that are stuck, kids, grandkids can't take them to any shows, because even though things are starting to open back up, which we know what's going to happen because of this pandemic, basically, go right on ahead, take the warning labels off. Let's go ahead and take the warning labels off and get rid of the stupid people. I think that's what our government is saying right now. No, we're basically going to see the toll climb. Last I heard, something right around 50,000 here in the U.S. 50,000 mortality rate is what I've heard. I don't know. I would have to check with what the CDC is saying. But because of the problems, they're opening everything back up. But there's still a lot of places that aren't open back up. So for kids, grandkids, you got those, just lying around, don't know, they still can't take them to a show. Maybe you're still under quarantine, whatever. Or maybe you're a big kid at heart yourself. We are going to do a magic show live Wednesday, unless we have the opportunity to change Project Spirit's oil and didn't get to it the day before. But I've got a funny feeling that we're probably going to hold off till the weekend anyways. Thursday is still going to be a Sober Talk Live. That does not change. Friday, Fancy Fridays, is still in effect. We will look at another suit. I will show you all another suit again. And then, of course, Sexy Saturdays is still on. And of course, Sunday, that is the day that we usually try to work on Project Spirit. So that's kind of how the week looks right now. Yeah, we actually have a full on, more than 3 days scheduled. Holy shit. That is a first here on the channel. And of course, if we have the opportunity to squeeze in an extra live stream somewhere, we will. But again, that's where we stand. All right. So unless something changes, I will try to put it on. But for the most part, that's kind of how the week stands for live streams. So, all right. I think we're pretty well set, aren't we? Had a good stream. I had a lot of fun. Talked about a lot of products. Again, we got to show you guys a cool life hack. Oh, by the way, squeaky door hinges inside your home, this will work on too. I might have to try it on my chair. Unless I just want to make sick perverted jokes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, we won't do that. There is something so wrong with me. Oh my gosh, I'm waiting for someone to laugh at that, That's probably going to be the new running gag. How does that chair thing work again, Prince Magnum? It works like this. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. You're not even. Not even gonna touch that one, huh? Prince Magnum, that belongs on Pornhub. Anyhow, Princess Faye actually hates the Pornhub joke. She hates that joke too. She's like, you shouldn't be making that joke. You're supposed to be family friendly. Stop it. Oh my God. Poor Queen. Good night, Chairman. It's good to see you, brother. Oh my God. What are you talking about, Queen? This joke? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. 355. Oh my gosh. That is a lot of deleting stuff. That is impressive. A lot of notifications. I gotta. Is this what you're talking about, Queen? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not supposed to do that anymore, huh? If Sean's in the background somewhere, he's losing his shit. Oh my gosh, we have too much fun. Oh, by the way, my mom, I called my mother for Mother's Day today. I called her and wished her a happy Mother's Day. And while I was wishing her a happy Mother's Day, I had to warn her because I didn't know she was not in the background in our live streams for a little while. She's just been too busy. She was telling me that she's been still getting the notifications, said, but I just haven't been in them. I said, kind of a heads up, Mom. Saturdays have gotten a little freaky. She's like, what happens on Saturdays? I said, well, that's the days that I told her, I said, where Princess Faye slathers drag makeup all over my face. She's like, oh my God, why? And I explained it to her, and she's like, well, how's the views coming along? Is it helping with your views? I said, oh yeah, Mom. I said, hands down, bar none. They're really head. And so Mama Magnum's sitting there going, well, if it's helping the views and helping you getting closer to making that money, shoot, that's just intelligence at that point. She's like, if it's going to help you be successful, by all means, shoot. She's like, maybe you should do a live stream in the drag makeup and do a cooking episode. I was like, Mom, that's actually what Princess Faye actually suggested. And she started laughing. Right? I'm like, well, hey, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. You laugh so hard. Queen, when I know when you're chatting, and I know laughing because you can no longer type. You get really quiet in chat, and you are laughing so hard at that point. You're telling me, yeah. Oh yeah. And I know when you are laughing so hard that you can't even breathe, let alone type at that point. I know when you're laughing that hard because you get really quiet in the chat. It's like, forget it. I can't talk. I can't even breathe at that point. So at that point, I know you are laughing uncontrollably and you're still watching, but you can't even type at that point. You're laughing so hard. I mean, you can't even breathe. So how can you even type? What the fuck are you? The joke about my chair squeaking the way that it does. I did that one day with Princess Faye in here. She's like, just like this, face palm, shaking her head the whole time. Looked like something off of Star Trek: The Next Generation with Captain Picard. Yeah. So yeah, that totally just, yeah. Now, I was gonna say, if Sean's in the background somewhere, he's probably laughing himself about the joke about my office chair. Now he's gonna be laughing uncontrollably at that joke, and now it's gonna be a new running gag here in the office, probably even more than the dang block of wood and the filing joke. Um, Here we go. Wait a minute. Anyhow, I'm still a big kid. But he's like, what? You think it's gonna be? You think he's gonna ask this as a new running gag? Probably. Sean will ask for this as a new running gag. But anyhow, we do need to wind this down. Again, thank you all for being here. We've been having I'll tell you right now, this pandemic has actually been fun, hasn't it? We've gone live pretty much every day, and we have had so much freaking fun this entire time. I've been having a blast. And that's the main thing. We've been having fun no matter what. And I've had so much fun, telling jokes to you all or showing you how to work on the cars or doing cooking, showing you some of my favorite video game stuff, blowing your guys' mind with knowledge. I mean, how many times have I done that? We've had a lot of fun. We've learned a lot of things. Um, it's just been a lot of fun. I don't think I'd, I mean, this pandemic has actually been fun. Despite how scary it's been, this pandemic has been fun. Um, what the hell are we going to do after this? What the hell are we going to do? I guess I could always do a Sean said, sis. I was going to say, what, have you been lurking in the background too? Ah, he's MIA again. Here's the internet probably crashed again. But anyhow, again, it has been a wonderful live stream. You guys have been absolutely amazing. You guys have helped me get through this pandemic having so much dang fun. We have. We've had a lot of fun. We've had a lot of laughs. It's been a blast. I wouldn't change a dang thing. We continue to have fun. Uh, right? Right? It's been so much fun. When it's over, we're probably still going to keep doing this. Too much fun. Is there such thing as too much fun? I don't think there is. I don't think there is. If there is, we're gonna continue to have too much fun. It's just been so much. I mean, we have sexy Saturdays where my sister sits there and refers to me as her twin sister, her cute twin sister. Yes, sis. I was actually expecting that Saturday where you were going to start making cracks about how I was a snack for the boys and all that other shit. I was waiting for it, but you didn't do it. You didn't do it. You were pretty upset Saturday, actually. And, and of course, Fridays, the fancy Fridays has now become a new tradition. Oh, man. Dang. Derek, dang. Dang, sis. That's a lot of money. That's a ridiculous amount of money. But anyhow, so we are now at that stage. Again, thank you all for being here with me. We have had a blast, and I wouldn't change anything. What the hell you mad? Right? Um, Queen, my family is full of people that we eat like horses. We just eat. As a matter of fact, I could sit down and eat a full right. McDonald's does suck. When you go there, you're not really going, you're just going there to throw a burger down your throat, really. Um, my family eats. Um, just we will eat. I can buy $100 worth of food and sit down and eat that in one day's time if you let me. The reason why we eat like that is we have a very high metabolism. I come from a family that is very thin. To give you an idea, I'm 5'9" and I barely tip the scales at 140 pounds. And it took me a long time to get to that point where, basically it's because I'm getting older that I'm like that. So my whole family is like that. There you go. See, there's an idea that'll give you an idea. So, and that's how we eat. Yeah. We are like that. As a matter of fact, through my 20s, it took me to get on a workout program that I'm still kind of on. But I was actually on a workout program that that required me to take in certain food. Yeah, there you go. My little sister, who is um, 16 going on 17, weighing in at 106 pounds. It's a spicy hamburger. So that should give you an idea. We just have an extremely high metabolism. See, now you get me thinking about an in-your-face episode um, explaining that whole food thing. Yep. And we love spicy food. Both sides of the family. We love our spicy foods. So that does bring us to a spot where we do need to wind it down. And I will say again that all of you in the Maverick Nation are absolutely amazing people. Um, Say what I mean? You guys are really, besides Project Spirit, you guys are the real stars of the show. You guys make the Prince Magnum channel what it is. You guys make Project Spirit the star that she is. You guys make Project Lena the star that she is. It's it's all of you that are putting putting the Prince Magnum channel on the map here on YouTube. It is you guys that are watching right now or watching the playback and things like that, and shout me out to all your friends and say, "Go check this dude out." He's got. It's all of you, right, sis? And see, I knew that. Doesn't surprise me. So it's all of you that continue to put the Prince Magnum channel on the map. And as you continue to watch, you're putting us that much closer to turning the monetization back on. We are looking at doing merchandise. We are that much closer. The moment that it happens, we will put a link up. You guys will be able to go to Teespring and buy Prince Magnum channel merchandise. We are very close. I'm going to get on to Princess Faye and really just like, you really need to finish this, okay? Again, thank you all for being here with me and helping me stay one more day sober. So that brings us to the spot where I get to say, get out there and work on a project. I don't care what it is, just do something with yourself. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet. Do something special for them today. And as always, for all of you out there, no matter what's going on in your life, especially in these dark times, if no one out there has told any of you that they love you, Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24. Thank you.